Welcome back to another uncanny, electrifying episode of the Cinestro Core. Ignore that uncanny, that's from our last intro. I'm your host, Blacksby, and today I have with me the homie Robert E. Lee Pack. And today we're going to be discussing Civil War by the legendary Alex Garland. I don't say Alex Garner. What more can be said about this film, bro?
Damn, right off the rip, you're already gonna
Just
start glazing,
We're
bro.
ripping off the bandage. We're getting started, bro. I'm glazing. Nobody can
Alex,
stop me today.
Civil War. Do you want to basically first before we start talking about what we thought, just basically talk about like what it's about? It's essentially just it's a dystopian film. Set in in a future America, not necessarily. It doesn't really specify when it takes place. Oh, really? Okay,
No.
but it's basically. But I was like, not really. It doesn't really specify when it takes place, but basically a dystopian America in which there is a civil war, and we follow some journalists who go on a road trip to make it from New York to Washington, basically to interview the president. Basically get an interview with the president before the rebellion forces get to him.
The Western
forces get to him. Essentially, and then basically we just follow this group of journalists, and then a young aspiring journalist on their trek, and I think. Basically is what it. And so, what were you saying that you were gonna start glazing? I'll let you cook.
I'm absolutely gonna start glazing, bro. First of all, let's start at the top with the cast. We're not even getting to the storyline yet. The cast, bro. Kristen Dunst, love her. She was great in Spider-Man. My fucking goat, Wagner Moura.
Hey.
You niggas don't know, bro. I'm about to glaze so hard, bro. When I watched my man's in Narcos. I knew he was certified.
I hated him in Narcos just because he was supposed to play Colombian and he's Brazilian and his accent, his Colombian accent was not there. He didn't speak Spanish well. And it was just really jarring and kind of distracting, but he's a phenomenal actor and I really love him. But
for someone who knows nothing of Spanish.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, exactly.
I was like,
for your regular folk.
When I'm a plebeian, when bro said plata y plomo, I was like,
plomo. Plomo.
Yes, I was like, let's fucking go. He means business, bro. Standing on business, bro.
No, but I think you're right. I think if we just run down the cast really quick, you guys will realize like how great this is. Like you said, Wagner Moura, Kristen Dunst, Kaylee Spaney.
We'll come back to Kaylee Spaney real quick. I want to glaze our king, Stephen McKinley.
I was just gonna run down the cast real quick, and then we'll go kind of individually. Kaylee Spaney, Jesse Plemons, Nick Offerman, Stephen McKinley Henderson. Those are the
principal
lead, the principal, the main characters in this joint. But sorry, what were you gonna say about Stephen McKinley Henderson,
bro? Like we talked about this a little bit in pre-show. He's getting his flowers now, and he's just a phenomenal actor. We were looking at his filmography earlier, but I'm also looking at his television credentials and his theater credentials. I always say this, there's great actors across all forms of media, but in my professional opinion, my unprofessional opinion, if you're able to act across theater, TV, and movies and kind of dip your feet in each one, you have the unlimited amount of range. And if you can display your range across all forms of all three forms of media,
all three mediums,
all three mediums, like you're goated, bro. Like
I can tell he's a theater actor because he's very talented. And there's this thing, that goes around in regards to actors. Denzel, I think, said it. He said that the best actors are cultivated on stage. So if you have a very extensive background experience, if you have a very if you're a good stage actor, chances are that will, you can handle screen acting. And so, yes, Stephen McKinley Henderson, I think we should give him his flowers. Like you said, he's had a long, extensive career. He went to Juilliard, and he's been acting for decades. He started doing August Wilson plays, which are iconic and legendary. And so I'm so glad that now, I mean, it sucks that it's taken this long, but he's been a working actor for most of that time. So I'm just glad that he's finally, he met Alex Garland. Alex obviously loves him. He fell in love with him and he worked with him on Des. He put him in this. He's probably going to keep putting him in things that he works on. And so that's really exciting, and he's just amazing. I love him.
Keeping him in, what's it called? Keeping him employed.
Booked and busy.
Booked and busy. My goat. No, Alex Garland, real as hell for putting him in different projects, man. Like,
that's good. That's what good directors do, is they find actors that they're like,
they work well
with.
Mm-hmm.
With you're like you get me. We're on the same wavelength. You understand what I'm trying to go for, and you take direction very well. And so,
he said, "You see the vision."
You see the vision, exactly.
You see the vision.
Some of the best directors do it. Martin Scorsese does it. Yorgos Lanthimos does it. So Denis Villeneuve does it. So
big goat right there. Now I keep going through the cast. You listed, Nick Offerman. We are notorious Nick Offerman fans, especially when we glazed the shit out of him during what's it called, The Last of Us.
The Last of Us.
But I mean, his other roles. I was introduced to Nick in a comedic setting with Parks and Rec.
Of course,
seeing him act outside of Parks and Rec is like, bro, this is fucking crazy. This dude can act. This is great. Jarring. He was in this movie for what, like maybe 10 minutes max.
Not 10 minutes. He's in it for like 5 minutes max. Maybe.
But his 5 minutes, he sold, bro. He cooked. Let that man cook. He was playing a very good fascist president. I won't put any names.
You're right.
Any names because we're a little too close to elections.
If there's any real life connections that are lines that are drawn, then hey, that's
that's on you. If the shoe fits, bro.
He also worked with Alex Garland on a show called Devs. I don't know if you've seen it. Yeah,
Devs aren't Kaylee Spaney's also in Devs too, right?
No, I don't think so. No. No, but Nick Offerman
she's in Devs.
Oh shit! Holy fuck! You're right. I did not even remember her being in Devs. You're right. And so was the other chick. Sonia Mizuno. Yeah. She played the lead in Devs.
Yep. And then Jin Ha, the sniper, he was in Devs.
Holy shit, dude! I did not remember Kaylee Spaney. Holy fuck! You're right. Damn, I just mind blown. I did not remember her.
So basically,
see, it's what we were talking about.
Yeah, he's like plugging all his peoples in. He's like, y'all are
repurposing his actors.
We're gonna put y'all in something else. So we're gonna get you in the next project.
He said, if I'm getting a bag, you're getting a bag.
He said, we all eat. I like that though. That's good. He's got talented people in his corner. Arsenal, in his corner. So if he's picking them up and putting them in the next project, that's great.
And he's alternating, like he's not like, the same people are getting leads. Like Nick Offerman, what was your name? Sonoyu, right? Oh my gosh. Sonoya, Nick Offerman, and Carl Glussman Carl Glussman. They were the leads of Devs, and he still put them in Civil War, but they weren't the biggest roles. And other people like Kaylee didn't have that big a role in Devs. Or wasn't the lead, but now she's one of the leads in Civil War. I like how he's like plugging and playing and kind of switching them all, switching them up and not playing favorites. I think that's really cool. But
Carl Glussman was funny as hell in Civil War.
He was funny as fuck. I didn't recognize him the first time I saw him just because I'm used to him being bald.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's him. But another guy I think we should mention in regards to the cast, is Dallas legend, your boy
Evil Matt Damon.
Or what'd you call him, Meth Damon?
Evil Matt Damon. They call him. I saw someone on Twitter call him Meth Damon. I thought that was crazy.
I don't like the Evil Matt Damon. Nickname.
I think Matt Damon is the evil. Maybe it's Matt Damon.
Matt Damon's the evil Jesse Plemons. Exactly.
How about that? We're glazing the fuck out of Jesse. It's the opposite now. Matt Damon, you've been relegated to evil Jesse Plemons.
Jesse's phenomenal. That's the thing.
Incredible, bro.
And here's the thing I like about Alex Garland is he picks he works with phenomenal actors, but two, I don't know what it is about his directing or what it is about his writing that then leads, to his directing, being able to complement this, but that he just gets such phenomenal performances from his actors, no matter the project, even if the projects are less than stellar, like, Annihilation, for example. I think all the performances in that film are phenomenal. As Annihilation, and it's like, and that's just, it's true to form. He doesn't miss in that regard, and to have Jesse Plemons, a phenomenal actor, just deliver a phenomenal performance in less than 10 minutes of screen time. Chef's kiss. It's just great. The cast is stacked, dude, and they're also talented.
When I knew this film was gonna be goated. Like, I knew it was gonna be so good when we first saw the trailer. And we all blew that shit up in our group chat. And we're like, bro, he said, "What kind of America?" I was like, "It's going down." He said,
"What kind of American are you?"
What kind of American are you? He said, "Tell me this mistake. We're Americans." Okay. What kind of American are you? You don't know? I was like, "Oh shit! Oh, they're going there. They're going there. It's getting crazy." So I just, and of course the rest of the cast is rounded out really, really well. Like we said, Nick Offerman, Sonoya Mizuno, Jefferson White, Nelson Lee, Jesse Plemons, my goat, Carl Glusman, Jin Ha, Wani Feliz.
Everybody, and Kaylee Spaney and Kristen Dunst, which we didn't touch on.
We're gonna touch on those two last. I want to give them their shine. Kristen Dunst is a staple. To me, she's a staple through Hollywood. She deserves so much. She's great. Saw her first in what's it called?
Bring It On.
Jumanji.
She was in Jumanji? She was in Jumanji.
That's where I first saw her. I could not remember. But my most notable performance of hers, besides Bring It On, is Spider-Man.
Yeah,
the Raimi Spider-Man, the OG. Of course,
some might say the best.
2, 3. She's in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Marie Antoinette, Interview with a Vampire. She's in Melancholia. She's in The Virgin Suicides. I mean, she's like you said, a Hollywood staple. She's been working for decades.
The last 30, 40 years, pretty much.
Yeah, I think she was a kid when she started. So like the last 30 years or something like that. But she's wonderful. And I think this movie really let her. It's a very internalized performance. You know, it's not very showy, but technically it's a phenomenal performance. So she's a phenomenal actress, and I think, and this was like a nice change of pace for her. She, it was like a kind of like a brooding, dark kind of character who's dealing with PTSD and a lot of kind of like trauma, and she conveyed that beautifully and wonderfully, and was so engaging and kind of warm while being cold and distant at the same time, and that's a hard balancing act to manage as an actor. And she just, again, it's what we won't go back to, just casting talented actors to be in your film, and you're gonna have a good film for the most part, because if you have someone who's engaging and interesting to look at as an audience member, then you're locked in, right? And you're just along for the ride if an actor can capture your attention simply by being an interesting performer who makes interesting choices, So, yeah, man, she was wonderful, and I think it was a great choice to make her the lead of the film and just focus and kind of center it around the two female leads, but her specifically, I think was a great choice.
Yeah, it was an excellent choice making her lead this film, especially I feel like my perception of Kristen is so rooted in Spider-Man that all I see is damsel in distress. Peter's gonna save her. Blah blah blah. Seeing her in this and seeing her in other performance outside of the Spider-Man trilogy, you really see her depth as an actress and as a leading woman too. Like you said, she was able to portray that coldness of like that callous, grizzled veteran reporter, but also a side of warmth with the new fledgling reporter that she's now taken under her wing, unwittingly, unwillingly.
Unwillingly.
She didn't want that girl down that trip. She knew the dangers of going across the country to the capital, but the girl's there, so she's like, all right, cool, fuck it, I'm gonna be friends, I'm gonna teach you, I'm gonna take care of you, all that. And it just, you see the dynamic between the two of them grow over the miles they travel. It's not the destination, you know, it's the journey and the friends we made along the way, all that shit.
Right.
No,
And
for
the
real,
foreshadow.
they were going all the way across the country, all the way across the country, going all the way down around like Pittsburgh and whatever the route was.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see both. You can see all the characters grow, but you can definitely see Lee Kirsten's character and what was Kaylee's
Kaylee
character,
Spaney, Jesse.
Jesse. There you can see them grow
Mm-hmm.
over time during that movie. Speaking of Kaylee Spaney, bro, our first introduction to Kaylee Spaney was not the greatest movie ever.
But I forgot about this.
It's the worst movie I've seen in recent memory. It's some shit that makes me want to punch my head through a wall. Pacific Rim Uprising.
Uprising.
Not the first one, because the first Pacific Rim was good. Pacific Rim
Masterpiece.
Uprising is dog shit. But it gave us
Dog
Kaylee
shit.
Spaney, and Kaylee Spaney has come a long way.
Come a very long way. Yeah.
She's been in different movies.
She was
projects.
wonderful in Priscilla.
Absolutely, she was in Priscilla.
Phenomenal, great film.
I think that's probably her biggest role
probably.
thus far until Civil War, and of course, upcoming this year, Alien Romulus.
Hey, the lead in Alien Romulus. So that's
going crazy.
Yeah, she was really good in that. So yeah, she's been in The Craft Legacy, Bad Times at El Royale. Vice. But nothing really.
Nothing that stands out.
Nothing. Incredibly significant, and that's let her kind of shine, and Priscilla kind of changed that. And to follow up Priscilla with Civil War, I think it's so hard for young actors. There's often this talk of like, do we even have movie stars anymore? What makes a movie star? There's a select few. Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Austin Butler might be on his way, Jacob Elordi, stuff like that. But it's a lot easier I think, to pick men movie stars than women nowadays. And if Kaylee keeps this up, and she seems to have really great taste, I think, and if she keeps working with interesting filmmakers and making interesting projects and just deliver, which we know she's capable of, then I think she can honestly cement herself as like one of the biggest like stars, most successful, most talented kind of like stars of like this generation, or the current crop of young actors that we have. And so, like I said, to follow up Priscilla, working with Sofia Coppola, and an autobiography about Priscilla Presley, and kind of, and then and doing something with Alex Garland as big as Civil War, I think is great. Check. It's like boom, boom. Yes,
And she's around our age too, so like I don't want her to do. I want what I want for her.
I think
what I want for Kaylee is to go the Timothée Chalamet route. Do not touch a major Marvel or DC universe film.
Don't do it.
Keep acting in films that are going to display your range, display what kind of actor or actress you are, and go from there. I think we talked about this the other day at the concert. I was like, I would love to be in a Marvel movie. I hope this does not come back to bite me when I audition for Bishop or some shit, or audition for Green Lantern. I don't want to be stuck in a massive cinematic universe role. Play the same character for 10 years. I want to grow. I want to do different things, and I want to be able to expand my range across different performances. I want to be able to do the dramatic stuff. I don't want to be typecast into roles simply because I was so good in, I was Blue Marvel, so that they're gonna cast me as a superhero in every fucking movie. Let me do other shit. Let me do dramatic shit, and I want to see different actors doing that kind of thing, because you end up in this kind of revolving door of, hey, all you're good at, like, look at Scott Eastwood. Forget the fact that he can't act. Look, he's what is his role? Standard cookie cutter white male who just stands there and looks brooding.
Who's the authority?
He's the authority figure. They could have thrown him in fucking Top Gun Maverick as Hangman, and nothing would have changed.
Yeah,
it would have been. Now, granted, Glenn Powell is a better actor,
much better actor,
much better actor. It's the same. It's the same thing. So. I don't want to be you as an actor. I feel like there should be more that you're striving for. I know you have your Chris Evans
and I'm all for getting your money, getting that back, getting the paycheck. We all got bills to pay. I get it, but I think she's popular enough, or like I think she's at that point in her career where she's just getting offers. So it's like lack of work is not, I don't think, is going to be an issue for her. So it's just about, I think she should focus on picking quality over quantity, right? Like I don't know, who can turn down a $12 million paycheck, right? I guess is the question. But I would really like her to keep going the way she's going, and kind of, like I said, picking interesting filmmakers and interesting projects, and kind of cementing herself, her like a legacy or whatever, but cementing herself that way. I think she's talented enough, and I think she's good enough to do so. And so, it's just exciting, and her career is exciting, and something to look forward to. And I hope she keeps it up. And then just really quick before we move on, I just want to mention, we just touched on Wagner Moura, but I'd like to just expand on that a little bit. I just think I think he's just phenomenal, and I think, he's such a charming guy in real life, and I think this role, I mean, it really played into him. I feel like he's a phenomenal actor, but I feel like of all the actors, he's the one who probably had to do the least amount of work. I think he just, and there's a thing about acting.
Cool, and that's all he did. Cool. He smoked cigarettes, drink fucking vodka straight from the bottle.
He was like hot.
He was so
cool, and he was swagged out. He had that shit on, and so I mean, I think, and that's a hard thing to do as well, because it seems like it would be the easiest job. You just show up, be cool, whatever. But I think he has this kind of this energy and this gravity to him, and I think that's very essential for his character, who isn't very isn't the most wonderfully written character, right? There's not a lot going on in regards for him to work with, and I think that's why having an actor that's as charismatic and as magnetic as Wagner, I think, is really helpful, because what you make up for in lack of writing, you have in kind of a charismatic leading man, who the camera loves. And so props to him as well, and just the entire cast, man, they just knocked it out of the park.
I mean, he cooked in fucking Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
He was cooking in that. He was also in what's it called?
Elysium.
Bad
movie.
I can't movie. I really forgot that. With evil Jesse Plemons.
Bad movie, but he was good in it.
He was in The Gray Man. Trash.
Yeah.
But
He was in Puss in Boots,
The Last Wish. Goated.
Goated.
No, he really. I feel like he did a lot with what little he had. That scene, like right after they were with Jesse Plemons' character, and they were driving away, and they they shot at the car and all that.
Yeah.
Once he realized, what's his character's name? Stephen McKinley
Henderson.
What was his character's name?
Sammy.
I almost said Stevie. Sammy. After Sammy got hit, he kind of just realized the gravity of the situation. Yeah. And then once they got to the Western Forces encampment, that song was playing the whole time. There's no words being said besides that song, and he's just like screaming,
acting his ass.
He's acting his fucking ass off simply with his face, because we can't hear shit else besides that song. He's just I was like, bro, him Moura, bro, he's too good. I would love to see him in more roles as well. So that way I can kind of detach myself from simply seeing him as Pablo Escobar. That's gonna stick with me forever, bro. He cooked. In my opinion, he cooked. I fucking love that show.
It's stuck with him. But I think
they had my boy Boyd Holbrook in that bitch.
Just to move on and continue talking about Civil War. I think what was I gonna say? I was gonna say something. Just about just Alex. I'm a big fan of Alex Garland, just in general. I think prior to his most recent press run, I thought he was like super smart, and like just I liked the way that like he viewed like the world, and I thought he had really interesting like ideas and takes, and I think that he does a really good job of kind of getting what's in his head onto page and onto screen. And I think for someone who didn't want to be a filmmaker necessarily, who that wasn't what he wanted to do, I think he's so incredibly adept at that. And I think he's such a great filmmaker. I think his movies all look beautiful, all look phenomenal, are all wonderfully directed, wonderfully acted, wonderfully shot. I think he has a great eye for composition.
Mm-hmm.
I think every shot in his films seem meticulously planned out and thought out and all are executed incredibly well. And I just think he's so competent and so good. I think his strength is obviously writing. That's what he is. He said it. He said as much as himself is that writing is his strong suit. That's what he sees himself doing for forever, and that's where he excels. Right. He started off as a novelist, and my favorite part of his films or him is his scripts. I think his scripts are phenomenal. In case you guys don't happen to know some of the stuff this motherfucker has written, he's written 28 Days Later, 28 Weeks Later, Sunshine, the 2012 Dread movie, Men,
with Carl Urban,
Ex Machina, Annihilation, and then he also, and so he's
writing 28 years later too.
He's writing 28 years later, exactly, as well. I think, or he's producing it or something. But
won.
I know we won. So he's just and those are some of like Dread might be like a 5-star movie. It fucks. 28 Days Later is one of my favorite zombie movies. One of my favorite like horror action horror movies of all time. It's amazing. I'm a big Ex Machina, another 5-star masterpiece.
Banger.
I mean, he's just a fantastic writer, and I think. And although I really liked Civil War, I did have some issues with the writing of this film. I'll try not to ramble too much, and I'll let you jump in. But it's like I think all the things stay true about his filmmaking and him and whatever. And in regards to Civil War, I think they translate very well. But I think my big issue or my big takeaway from this film is that it was just too vague for my liking. Which is really surprising to me because someone who is incredibly meticulous and thought out and smart, right? He seems to have takes and ideas, right? And he knows where he stands on certain issues like AI, on eco terrorism and kind of on men and kind of and their infallibility or kind of their predisposition towards violence, or whatever, or and so he has ideas and he picks a side, and it just really shocked me and really kind of disappointed me that he didn't do so in Civil War, right?
What is arguably one of his most polarizing, biggest films.
Exactly,
and it's given the social political climate right now too. Bro basically said this. He's like, I want the parts.
Exactly. He played it safe.
Pussy. Don't be a pussy, bro.
Stand on business.
Pussy, stand on business, bro.
He played it safe, and that was just really disappointing. Like I said, considering how kind of set in his ways and like true to himself he seems to be. And I don't know if that has to do with the fact that he's not American, he's British, and I don't know, maybe he didn't feel comfortable enough making a film about the Civil War in the United States and picking. This is incredibly reductive, but picking a side in regards to that, but it just seemed like if it seemed it seemed too narrow or too broad and not focused enough. I feel like if he had an idea as to who were the good guys or the bad guys, or even if you wanted to make it ambiguous and make it more gray and they're all bad, there's really no good guys or whatever. If he made that implicitly clear, right? And just, I don't know, it just seemed like he wanted to focus on a film about journalism and PTSD and kind of like what drives people of a certain ilk to pursue this kind of career or pursue these kind of stories, and how far we're willing to go as human beings to kind of get that story, right? And is that good? Is that bad? Can they bring about change in a positive way? Are they just narcissists? Like these kind of, I feel like he wanted to focus on that a lot more than like you said, the grander socio-political themes that he could have. And that just disappointed me because, as much as I like the movie, I just think it could have really used that. And I think it would have made it a lot more interesting, like you said, considering that we have an upcoming election here in the States. And I don't know, it would have been cool.
I agree.
Sorry for that long
No,
ramble.
you're good. No, you're solid. You're good. I agree. I also feel like, yeah, he should have kind of taken a side, so to speak, but he also kind of left it up to the viewers' interpretation. What I got from the movie is that um, the Western forces of Texas and California, they were like, this shit not working, this shit fascist, we're splitting off. They're doing their own thing. Florida was like, we're fucking Florida, we do whatever the fuck we want. Fuck y'all. Spread and do their own shit. Then the remaining states were the ones that remained, and they were, while they were thinking they're the good guys, you know, it's the Western forces think, oh, they're the bad guys, that's the fascists. Then it's back and forth, you know. So it's kind of gives the viewer the, not necessarily the responsibility, but the ability to choose who is the place, who is the bad guy, who's what, and you kind of see who's which side is which. And I mean,
and maybe
without him developing that backstory too much, you know, because we like I said, we texted each other like, how are we going to find out fucking Texas and California linked up? What's the basis of that? What's the backstory?
Right. And here's the thing, maybe
that,
like I said, maybe he did it on purpose, and he was like, none of that matters. It doesn't matter who's good or who's bad or why they seceded or why they're still in the union or whatever. That's not the important part. The important part is these human beings, right? And the stories that they tell, and kind of like journalism and media, and you know, and I get it. That's fine, and that's okay. And I know that this shouldn't bother me, but the fact that California and Texas are allies in this movie, I'm sorry. And I've had people like get on to, like, a certain friend of ours get on to me and be like, well, if you don't get it, that's on you. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. As someone who lives in Texas, who was born and raised in Texas, hearing how these people talk about people, there's no fucking way
physically
impossible. They would never side with those libs in California, bro. It would never happen.
I seen someone driving with a truck, and the sticker on the back said, "Don't California my Texas."
There you
and
go.
It had a Texas flag, and it had a little Confederate flag. I was like, see, that's how I know. This movie would have been 10 out of 10 for me if it weren't for that. Because if you said some shit like Texas and fucking Arkansas allied, or Texas and Oklahoma, I'd be like, that makes sense.
Yeah,
or
Texas and Florida.
California and fucking Oregon or some shit.
Yeah.
You know, that would make sense.
Yeah,
Texas
Washington.
and California, bro. We don't even like California.
And Alex Garland.
The Dodgers. I hate the Angels. Shohei Ohtani is a bitch. I love California. Don't get me wrong. I love California. Love Hollywood. There's aspects of California that we can throw into the sun. I do not see Texas and California linking up for any purpose.
And here's the thing.
Maybe the brown people and the black people would.
Maybe. And here's the thing. And Alex Garland said himself, what did he say in that interview exactly? He said, if you can't possibly imagine a world in which California and Texas can team up, then that says more about you. Then maybe you should think about why that is. And it's like, because I live here, because I know. And that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe it's the fact that maybe it's the fact that he's British and he's like incredibly rude. And maybe he works and lives, and I think he lives in the UK, but he works in LA a lot. And that's a very blue state, you know, it's very progressive in that sense. So, you know, it seems like, I don't know how much time he spent in rural to right leaning states or that part of the country, you know. So it's, and he said, and I remember in an interview, he said, Texas and California, you know, kind of came together because although they had their differences, they saw past that because they realized that they were not okay with this level of fascism. That their hate or distaste for fascism, over what's it called? Their distaste for fascism was greater. Their hate for fascism was greater than their differences amongst each other. And I was just like, that's not true. Texas conservatives love fascism.
We have it happening right now.
They have that shit happening right now. Exactly. They have that shit. Exactly. Look at what's happening in UT, the UT student protesters. So it's like, and people, and I know people are like, well, it's not real life. It's a movie. You know, you got to be able to like disconnect from reality and suspend your disbelief. And it's like, and I get it, but at the same time, it's very important, I think, for art to mirror what's happening in real life and to bring, awareness and try to bring about change. And, just not to get too preachy and stuff, but I don't know. Just, again, one thing that really bothered me about it was just his lack of clarity and vision and decision-making in that sense.
It's just, I don't know, man. I still don't agree with the whole, whatever you want to say about it. Texas is not linking with California. And that whole explanation of they don't like fascism. I'm like, bro, come on.
Texas,
Like you said,
Texas conservatives
it's literally
love
happening
fascism.
right now. It's literally happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I'm gonna chalk it up to he's from the UK. They don't know what's going on.
That's exactly what I'm chalking it up to.
I'm just gonna let it be that because, bro, come on, man.
Right.
Literally, it's happening in front of your face. Anyways, maybe he'll make a sequel to Civil War, to Civil 2 War.
To Civil 2.
We'll get some explanations off that.
Right.
Speaking of Alex Garland, what I wanted to do real quick before we close our episode, do a quick little ranking of his films. We've talked about Civil War. We've mentioned our lowest rated Alex Garland film, Annihilation. We've talked about, I think we've talked a little bit about Ex Machina, Devs. I know it's a TV show, but we brought it up a couple of times. What else? Let's just do a ranking of all.
We just like our top three. We could just do like
we'll do our top three. We'll do our top three.
Okay, I'll go first. I think in no particular order. Just some things like just to. I think that best encapsulate like what Alex Garland does or what he's best at, and I think you have to have Ex Machina on there, and look, and he's written stuff, and he hasn't directed everything he's written, so I'm gonna just do my three favorite things that he's worked on, whether that be as a screenwriter or as a writer director. And Ex Machina,
you can do writer or director, either one's fine.
Yeah. I think Ex Machina is a masterpiece. It's his first film that he directed, and it's fucking amazing. Ex Machina, I think, is up there. I think 28 Days Later, just because it's kind of like what this movie, his novel The Beach is what put him on the map, and then they adapted that. But 28 Days Later is the kind of his first foray into Hollywood and on his own terms, and that's a phenomenal film. And then I would probably pick I Like Men. I know it has its detractors. I'm not sorry. Oh, that's a clip that. But I like the film Men, and I think it has its detractors. But I just think it's visionary and incredibly transgressive or whatever. And I really like the ideas and what it has to say. And so those are my three: Ex Machina, Men, and 28 Days Later.
Solid choices. I still haven't seen Men yet. I need to. So I can't include that in my list. But my three would probably be it's a little tough one. I'll say 28 Days Later as well. We're on the same page as that on that one. Same reason. It's great where we got started with the Alex Garland Supremacy film writing course. I guess number two. Oh, not really. I'm not even going to rank these in any order. The next one would probably be, oh boy, either Ex Machina or Dread, because I like Dread, but Ex Machina is so good, man. Ex Machina is solid, and I'd have to say Civil War is my third one, simply because I really love this movie. It's too good. Save for the Texas and California thing. I think I'll have to see his next outing as a director. It's a movie called Warfare, and then he's also writing 28 Years Later. I might revise my ranking from there and see where we go with that. But yeah, all in all, Alex Garland, solid director. I think Luis had to run and handle business. He's at work, by the way, so if you see him disappear from every now and then, he's busy. He's a little busy saving lives. But yeah, overall, Alex Garland cooked. He went hard with Civil War. All his works prior to this have been really, really good. I think Annihilation is the only one I really don't like. But
yeah, it's my least favorite out of all his movies as well.
yeah, it's just like it looks cool. It looks like a cool concept. I just did not like it.
I also think it's my least favorite because it's an adaptation of something that's not his work. It's an adaptation of a book, and so I think there's kind of like a separation of a degree of separation, from the original author's words to then his interpretation of those words to then his adaptation of said words, and kind of trying to sprinkle in all his kind of ideologies and et cetera into that film. So I think that's why it doesn't work for me. It's a little too convoluted. It's a little too kind of, again, not focused enough and kind of all over the place. And like I said, I think it suffers from the fact that it's not his kind of original idea and kind of doesn't percolate from his brain. And that's why I think it suffers. But yeah, it's not a terrible movie by any means. And I like some of the ideas he's playing with, and he's entertaining in that film, But there's way better things I think that he's made and worked on. And Dread is a phenomenal film. I didn't mention it, but it's great.
Yeah, just contrast it with Dread. Dread went so hard, bro. I liked it. I stood up out my chair. That shit was crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It was hype. It was lit.
Me and Carl Urban were locked in from that day forward, bro.
Exactly.
So, and I mean, we've seen Carl in different roles over the years, but that one really stood out to me. Judge Dredd is a very gritty and dark freaking comic strip. I've never really read it, but watching the movies, I was like, this is fucking awesome. This shit's hype. And knowing that Alex Garland wrote it, you can see it's well written. So
yeah, it's got a phenomenal structure.
Let that man cook. Give that man a pen.
I think he's going to do that. I know he said he's going to retire from filmmaking because it doesn't really bring him joy anymore. And look, I wish he would make as many, continue making films until he dies. I'm such a big fan of him and I love all his work. But he said he's not going to stop writing. And so I think ultimately that's not a loss, because I think that's like we said earlier, that's what he's best at. That's what he loves. And so, hey man, if he's going to continue screenwriting and writing scripts and let other people direct those scripts, then I mean, I think we're all the better for it as long as he continues writing stuff, which I think is his strong suit, and letting his brain, his little British brain cook. Then I'm here for it. As long as he doesn't stop making stuff. I think we're good.
Making bangers, because his next film, the next film that he's working on. It's 28 years later, but he's just a writer. He's not directing. But the next film he's directing is called Warfare, which I kind of hope is a sequel.
He's co-directing with the guy who was like the military supervisor on Civil War. His name is Ray Mendoza. And,
we're getting 2 civil, 2 war,
and so he's saying he kind of like taking a step back and letting Ray like pitched him the idea while they were making Civil War, and he was like, I like that, and I'll help you like write it and make it or whatever. But it's like your thing. But just quick, the Cosmo Jarvis is in that bitch, the guy from Shogun, in Warfare.
Hell yeah,
and Joseph Quinn, Kit Connor, and I think
is that the pilot?
Yeah. The white guy, the only white guy,
bro.
Yeah, he's in it.
He looks like evil Aaron Taylor Johnson. Evil Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Will Poulter's
also British. Will Poulter, phenomenal actor. I love him. So I'm excited to see his venture forward into the later, I guess, the later stages of his career, since he wants to just write.
Yeah.
But until that day comes, we will sit back and glaze the hell out of Civil War and all his other works.
Yeah.
Real quick, before we close up for today, big shout out to Backstage OL, our number one source for all things Hollywood, all things media. That's where we get our information. That's where you should get yours, because it's the only accurate source out there. Do not trust any of these bullshit ass leakers and scoopers that you find on Twitter, because they will lead you astray. The motherfuckers don't know what they're doing. Talk to Backstage. Tap in with Backstage. Other big shout out to the homie AZ. He's not here. Follow him on the Twitch. We got the Twitch in the description. Tari Singo, also his Twitter name his YouTube name, all that. We're gonna have all these names in our all these handles in our description of the episode. Lastly, you already know what to do. Follow us. Follow us at Cinestro Core. Give us a big old shout out. Tap in with us. You already know. Lock in. That being said, another thrilling episode is in the books, you guys. Huge thanks to everyone who tuned in today. Keep the excitement going by following us on all platforms at Cinestro Corp. Like I said, Cinestro Corp with no S. We've got an epic lineup this year that you won't want to miss. Remember to smash that like and subscribe button to never miss a beat with us. Show us some love by leaving a 5-star review wherever you catch this podcast. Spread the word about our podcast and YouTube channel far and wide. Share it with your friends and family and your entire network. Your support means the world to us. And until next time, you stay awesome. And we'll catch you on the next electrifying episode of the Cinestro Core. Peace. We out here 5,000.